Sophia Grant's 7-year-old son, Ethan, was scheduled for heart surgery on May 14th at 6 a.m. The doctors said it would take about 4 hours to repair a congenital valve defect. She had told her entire family 6 weeks earlier, hoping they would rally around them. She called each of them personally, her mother, her father, her brother Michael, and her sister Laura, explaining the seriousness of it all. Her mother promised gently, "Of course, sweetheart, we'll all be there. Ethan needs his family." Laura said she'd take the day off work. Michael said he'd drive down from Portland. Her father even said he'd bring Ethan's favorite stuffed lion. The night before surgery, Ethan couldn't sleep. His little hand gripped Sophia's tightly. "Will Grandma really be there when I wake up?" he whispered. Sophia smiled, even though her heart ached. "She promised, buddy." Everyone promised. His next question pierced her. "What if I don't wake up?" Tears burned in her eyes. "You will, sweetheart. The doctors are the best, and I'll be right there. Everyone will be waiting for you." That, she later realized, was the last promise she should have made. At 5:30 a.m., they arrived at the hospital. Ethan was brave as nurses checked him in, but his eyes kept darting to the waiting room doors. "Where's Grandma?" he asked softly. "Probably stuck in traffic," Sophia said. "And Uncle Michael?" "He had a long drive, honey. He'll be here soon." But as the nurse came to wheel him away, Ethan's small hand trembled in hers. "Mom, I'm scared." Sophia bent down and kissed his forehead. "I know, baby. But you're so brave. When you wake up, everyone will be here to see you." She watched them wheel him away, her chest tight. Sophia sat in the waiting room and checked her phone. No messages. No calls. She waited. 6:30 a.m., nothing. 7 a.m., still silence. At 7:15, she started calling. Her mother, voicemail. Laura, voicemail. Michael, voicemail. Finally, at 7:45, her father answered. "Sophia, I'm so sorry," he began. "Your mother and I can't make it. Something came up with Laura's wedding planning. We need to meet the venue coordinator this morning." Sophia gripped the phone tightly. "Dad, Ethan's in surgery right now. You promised." "We didn't realize the appointment was today," he said. "It's the only slot they had." Her voice trembled. "Then reschedule it." "We can't. Laura needs us." "Ethan needs you," she cried. But he ended the call. Sophia sat alone for 4 long hours. Around her, families clustered, grandparents hugging parents, aunts bringing coffee, siblings holding hands. Every child who came out of surgery had someone waiting. Every child except Ethan. When the doctor finally called her name, Sophia stood shakily. The operation had gone well. Relief and sorrow mixed painfully inside her. She hurried to the recovery room, her heart pounding. Ethan was groggy but awake. His eyes fluttered open, searching the room. "Where is everyone?" His voice was weak, fragile. Sophia forced a smile. "They couldn't make it, sweetheart. But I'm here, and the surgery went perfectly." His small face crumpled. "But they promised." Tears streamed down as his chest began to ache. "It's okay," Sophia whispered, holding him close. "You're safe now." A nurse came by, giving her a sympathetic glance that made her want to scream. The next evening, Sophia's phone rang. Her mother's cheerful voice filled the line. "How's our little soldier?" Sophia's tone was flat. "Heartbroken, actually." "Oh, don't be dramatic," her mother replied. "I'm sure he's fine." Kids bounce back. "He keeps asking why no one showed up," Sophia said, her voice trembling. "Well, we had to deal with Laura's wedding plans," her mother replied. "That was important." "His surgery was life-threatening," Sophia snapped. "And it went fine, didn't it?" "So, everything worked out," her mother said casually. Sophia hung up. 3 days later, her phone buzzed again. It was her mother. "Hi, sweetheart. We need to talk about something important. Laura found her dream wedding dress, but it's $5,000. We're asking everyone in the family to chip in. Can you send her share by Friday?" Sophia stared at the message, numb. Her son's chest still bore stitches, and this was what her mother cared about. She quietly transferred 50 cents to her mother's account. The note read, "For the veil. Best wishes." Sophia sat on the couch, trembling with disbelief. For years, she had done everything her family asked, loaned money, kept peace, ignored disrespect. Years earlier, when she got a raise, her parents convinced her to add them as authorized users on one of her bank accounts for emergencies. That account now held nearly $47,000, her emergency fund. She opened her laptop and began removing their access one by one. Then she changed every password, updated her security, and blocked every family contact. Her hand shook, but she felt something powerful, freedom. The next morning, her phone rang. "Ms. Grant, this is Derek Collins from Pacific Federal Bank," said a polite voice. "I have your mother, Patricia Grant, here in my office. She's upset about losing access to one of your accounts." Sophia exhaled slowly. "That's correct. I removed her access. It's my account." "She claims it's a family fund," he said. Sophia's tone hardened. "It isn't. Every cent is from my paycheck. Please note that she has no legal claim." She could hear her mother shouting in the background. "Tell her to fix it." Sophia's voice was calm. "Please inform her this isn't theft, it's called boundaries." 2 hours later, the doorbell rang. Michael stood outside, arms crossed. "What the hell, Sophia?" he snapped. "Mom says you stole money." "I didn't steal anything," she said coldly. "I removed her from my account, my money, not family money." She said it was for emergencies. "Was my son's heart surgery not an emergency?" she asked. Michael's anger faltered. "We had the venue thing, which you could have rescheduled," she cut in. "You all promised Ethan you'd be there." He woke up alone. His head dropped. "Mom said it was routine." "It was open-heart surgery," Sophia whispered. "On a child. Nothing about that is routine." Michael rubbed his temples. "So, you're punishing us by locking Mom out?" "It's not punishment," Sophia said. "It's protection." "A wedding dress isn't an emergency, Michael. My child's life was." "What about family?" he muttered. "Ethan is family," she said sharply. "You just forgot that." He left without another word, his silence heavier than any argument. That afternoon, Laura herself arrived, wearing a designer coat and fury. "I can't believe you," she shouted as soon as Sophia opened the door. "My wedding is in 3 weeks and you're sabotaging it." "I'm not sabotaging anything," Sophia said calmly. "You sent Mom 50 cents. You're cruel." "Cruel?" Sophia repeated. "You skipped a 7-year-old's heart surgery for cake tastings and flowers." Laura scoffed. "He's fine." "No, Laura. He's broken." He asked why no one cared enough to show up. Laura's expression softened for the first time. "We didn't mean to hurt him." "But you did," Sophia said quietly. "And now you want my money." Laura's voice cracked. "So, I can't have my dream dress because of one mistake?" "One mistake." Sophia's voice rose. "This isn't one mistake. It's a lifetime of ignoring anyone who isn't you. You've always been the priority. Not Ethan. Not me. Just you." Tears welled in Laura's eyes. "That's not fair. Neither is asking me for $5,000 3 days after abandoning my son," Sophia said. "You don't get to call that family love." Laura's lips trembled. "What do you want? An apology?" "No," Sophia said softly. "I want peace. And for once, I'm choosing it." Over the next week, Sophia's phone exploded with calls from distant relatives, all defending her parents. They told her she was being unreasonable, ungrateful, disrespectful. She blocked them all. Her father sent a long, guilt-filled email about family obligations and forgiving your elders. She deleted it without finishing. When her mother showed up at her workplace, security escorted her out. Through it all, Sophia focused on Ethan, his recovery, his healing, his fragile trust. One evening, Ethan looked up from his sketchbook. "Mom, why didn't they come?" Sophia's chest ached. "Because they made a bad choice, baby. They thought something else was more important." "Was it?" "No," she said firmly. "Nothing's more important than you. Not to me." He was quiet for a while. "Do we have to see them again?" "Not unless you want to," she said. He shook his head. They made me sad. Then we don't have to, she whispered, brushing his hair. It's okay to protect yourself, even from family. The following weeks were calm. For the first time in years, Sophia's phone didn't buzz with demands or guilt. She spent her mornings reading to Ethan, her afternoons helping him with gentle exercises, and her evenings watching movies together. The silence that once felt lonely now felt peaceful. It's quiet, Ethan said one night, curled beside her. Do you miss them? She looked at him thoughtfully. Sometimes, she admitted. But then I remember how it felt to sit in that waiting room alone, and I realize I don't miss that kind of love. 2 months after the surgery, Ethan's laughter began to return. His cheeks regained color, and he started running in short bursts through the backyard. The scar on his chest was fading, but Sophia knew some wounds ran deeper. Mom, he said one afternoon, do you think Grandma still loves me? Sophia hesitated. I think she loves you the way she knows how, she said softly. But love means showing up, and she didn't. Ethan nodded slowly. Then maybe I don't need that kind of love. Laura's wedding day arrived in late July. Sophia wasn't invited, and she didn't care. She and Ethan spent the day at the beach instead, building sandcastles under the sun. We should make one with a moat, Ethan said, his laughter mixing with the waves. A moat, she smiled. To keep out bad people, he said simply. Like Grandma? Maybe, Sophia said gently, or just anyone who doesn't know how to stay kind. That day, she realized forgiveness didn't have to mean reunion. 2 days after the wedding, Sophia received a voicemail from her mother. I hope you're happy, the voice snapped. You ruined Laura's big day by refusing to help. Everyone knows what you did. You should be ashamed. Sophia deleted it without listening to the end. Shame was no longer her burden to carry. She'd spent a lifetime being the peacemaker, the fixer, the one who said yes when her heart screamed no. That version of her no longer existed. 3 months after the surgery, an envelope arrived in the mail. The handwriting was her father's. Inside was a check for $5,000 and a folded note. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The note read, Sophia, I'm not asking you to cash this. I just want you to see what it represents, the money we demanded for something meaningless while ignoring something vital. You were right. Ethan's surgery was the real emergency. We failed you.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Sophia sat at the kitchen table for a long time, the check untouched beside her coffee mug. Ethan peeked over her shoulder. What is it? He asked. An apology, she said softly. From Grandpa. Is it a good one? He asked, curious. It's better than most, she admitted. He understands what he did wrong. Ethan frowned. Does that mean we have to see them again? She smiled faintly. No, sweetheart. It just means they're learning. We decide if we want to let them back in. That night, after putting Ethan to bed, Sophia looked around the house. It was small but warm, filled with drawings, laughter, and peace. She realized she'd built a home without needing anyone's approval. For years, her family had made her feel like she owed them for love, for acceptance. But now she understood, real love didn't demand payment. It showed up when it mattered most. A few weeks later, a distant cousin called her, just to chat. But soon the conversation turned sharp. People are saying you turned your back on your family, the cousin said. They think you're bitter. Sophia laughed softly. Maybe I am, but I'd rather be bitter than blind. They say you embarrassed your mother. She embarrassed herself, Sophia replied calmly. I just finally stopped cleaning up her messes. She hung up before the cousin could reply. In early September, her mother showed up unannounced at her doorstep. Sophia didn't open the door. Through the glass, her mother's voice pleaded, Sophia, please. We can fix this. Sophia stood quietly, her heart pounding but steady. No, Mom, she said through the door. You can't fix what you refuse to see. You chose to be somewhere else when your grandson needed you. That can't be undone with words. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, but Sophia didn't open the door. Ethan started school again, proud of his bravery scar. It makes me special, he said, showing it to his teacher. Sophia watched from the doorway, her eyes misty. She had worried the surgery would make him fragile, but it made him stronger, wiser. At home, he'd draw hearts and color them gold. "Why gold?" she asked once. "Because gold doesn't break," he said with a grin. She realized then that her son was teaching her how to heal. Sophia got used to mornings without guilt calls, evenings without arguments, and weekends without obligations. She and Ethan baked cookies, visited parks, and read under blankets. Their world became smaller, simpler, but infinitely happier. She no longer feared silence. It wasn't emptiness. It was peace earned through pain. One afternoon, Sophia's phone buzzed. It was Laura. Against her instincts, she answered. "Sophia," Laura began quietly. "I wanted to say you were right." Sophia said nothing, waiting. "The wedding wasn't what I imagined," Laura continued. "Everything looked perfect, but it didn't feel right. I kept thinking about Ethan." "He's doing great," Sophia said softly. "I know," Laura said, voice breaking. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything." Sophia took a deep breath. "Thank you. That means something." But she didn't invite her back. A month later, another letter arrived, this time longer. Her father wrote about regrets, about watching his wife control everyone, about realizing too late how deeply they had failed Sophia. He ended with, "If you ever decide to forgive us, we'll be here. Not to demand, but to listen." She read it twice, folded it carefully, and tucked it in a drawer. Forgiveness, she thought, was a door she might one day open, but not yet. Sophia often thought about the waiting room, about the empty chairs that morning. She thought about promises made too easily and broken too quickly. If she learned anything, it was this: family is not defined by blood, but by presence. The people who show up when everything falls apart are the ones who truly matter. When Ethan turned 8, Sophia organized a small celebration, just the two of them. Balloons filled the living room, and a homemade cake sat on the table. "This is the best birthday ever," Ethan said, beaming. "Why?" she asked. "Because everyone who loves me is here," he said simply. She laughed through tears. That sentence healed something deep inside her. One night before bed, Ethan asked, "Do you think Grandma and Grandpa will ever say sorry again?" "Maybe," Sophia said. "Sometimes it takes people a long time to see what they've done." "If they say sorry, can I forgive them?" "You can if it feels right," she said softly. "Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. But you never have to let anyone hurt you twice." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "Then I'll forgive them from far away." Months later, Sophia watched Ethan play in the yard, sunlight glinting off the faint scar on his chest. The pain of that hospital morning would never completely fade, but neither would the strength that came from it. She realized that boundaries weren't walls. They were doors that only opened to those who deserved entry. And for the first time in her life, she felt free. Sophia never cashed her father's check. It stayed in her drawer as a quiet reminder of pain, of growth, of lessons learned. Every so often, she'd take it out and read the note again. It didn't make her angry anymore. It made her grateful. Because without that heartbreak, she would never have discovered her strength or the depth of her son's courage. Years later, whenever Ethan asked about that time, Sophia told him the truth, but gently. "It hurt," she would say, "but we grew stronger because of it." And Ethan, now older and confident, would smile and say, "That's because we're a team." Sophia would pull him close and whisper, "Always." And for her, that was enough, because she had finally learned that sometimes family isn't who stands beside you in photos, but who stands beside you when everything falls apart. If you value stories of respect, dignity, and justice, please subscribe. It means more than you know, and it lets me keep sharing the lessons life has carved into me.